Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today I'm going to be doing some winter cleanup around the pond bank as well as harvesting the gourds that volunteered. Even though we're having some nice warm sunny days here, we've already had multiple frosts, so it's time to clean up all the annuals as well as cut back any of the perennials. And we're also going to be harvesting these gourds that volunteered and grew. We have some dipper gourds and birdhouse gourds to grab, and I'm going to be storing those up in the barn so they can dry out and we can use those for crafts later on. I'll also be grabbing some more seeds from these brocade marigolds as well as any of the zinnias that still have some hanging on them. Then we'll get it all cut back, cleaned up, and taken down to the compost. I have a fall poppy blooming down here. I also have the dahlias and the elephant ears all laying out so they can get some air and sunshine on this day so they can get fully dried out. And I'll be storing those in the garage and hopefully be able to grow them again next year. Once I get all the plant material cleaned up, I will be going over the edging just to make sure I don't have any leaks and try and have that all cleaned up so there's nothing wicking water over the edge. And we also have a lot of leaves to clean out of here too. I still have yet to get down to the vegetable garden and get that finished up, but this pond area obviously is the centerpiece of the property and I'm gonna get this cleaned up first. So you ready, pup? So I'm gonna grab my snips and then we'll see what we can get done here. You hunting the moles, puppy? There's probably a bunch in there. The farmer showed up and harvested all the corn yesterday and the day before, so we have a new view out here. So let's get this cleaned up today before it gets too cold outside. I got everything cut back off the mound except for this vine here. I might do a little bit more with that, but we have a big pile of the brocade marigolds, one zinnia there, but that's all marigold. This is mostly gourd, but that's a lot of petunia on there too. We cut the lemongrass back and that still smells good cutting that. This is more brocade marigold and then some zinnia, calendula, and I think some cosmos in there too. I think I'm going to mow one more time, so I threw a lot of the weeds out here, so I'm just going to mulch those up with the leaves. Then we have the massive gladiola that was on the bank this year and some more zinnias. And then I cut back the buddleia. This was pretty big this year and we want to keep it relatively small, or at least keep the same size each year. So I gave it a pretty severe cutback. I think this palm tree's dead. I don't know. You let me know in the comments down below if I could dig that up and it'd still be alive, but to me that's probably pretty dead. I'll probably just cut that off at the base and leave the roots in. I did leave a small patch of calendula there just because it still looked pretty healthy, and calendula is pretty frost hardy, so I just wanted to leave it there and give it a chance. And all this creeping jenny spilling over the falls is a perennial, but a lot of the foliage has died back, so I want to give that a good pruning. And I don't need to do it right away, but that lemongrass root ball is going to have to get dug up. I'm going to want to plant something in that same spot next year, so that root ball is going to be in the way. It's not going to compost all the way for me to be able to plant in there next year. So we'll pull that out and fill it in with some compost and soil. And then I'll get all these piles taken down behind the garden so they can compost. Might get the leaf rake through here just to clean up all these dry leaves so they don't blow into the pond and add to the mess. Puppy, what are you doing in there? Check out these big old birdhouse gourds. They grew side by side and they are the biggest ones. I think that one might have a soft spot, but I'm hoping one of these is hard because they are a good size for a birdhouse. What do you think, pup? Is there a mole in that lemongrass? I did end up getting the ramp bed covered with leaves, so that's already set for the winter. And the gladiola bed next to the patio is all covered up. I just have to get the trellises down. And then the pond area will be pretty much cleaned up out here. All right, we got the pond bank all cleaned up now. Let's harvest these gourds and see what volunteered this year. That one's soft. 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 It's good. We got a few more down here. These two that were hanging on the wall have a nice straight neck. And then we have one here that grew between a rock and a hard place. There's definitely a flat spot on it, and that might be nice for a certain type of decoration or craft. But it looks like with these ones here, we have 8 dipper gourds. That's what these are here with the long neck. The dipper gourd, we have 8 of them that are good. And we have 3 birdhouse gourds that are of a decent size to actually make a birdhouse from. We did have a few there on the right that went soft. And then in the cold frame, we had 3 white Casper pumpkins come out. So they're not good for decoration. You can see they're soft there. They took a frost. But the birds up at the barn are gonna love them. But I am happy to get this pond garden cleaned up. It just makes it a lot neater out here and less chaotic looking. And I'm gonna get these gourds up to the top of the barn so they're gonna be away from the animals, because whenever they're drying out, they do mold and get covered in mold spores and fungus. So I put those in the top of the barn where none of the animals are gonna be sniffing them. Because Puppy's a sniffing machine, aren't you? So that's gonna be all for this one. I'm gonna go let all my birds out to free range now. If you like gardening videos, make sure to subscribe down below. If you like this video, hit that like button before you leave. And you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Piper, you weren't part of this free ranging today. What are you doing down here? You just gonna hang out with the ducks and goose and all the chickens? And Puppy.